Hello again, everybody. Welcome back to a brand new episode of Satch Talks on YouTube. In today's new episode, I'm going to be doing my build-up and speaking about the Community Shield on Sunday. I'm also going to be reviewing our pre-season, how I think it went, and my overall thoughts on the upcoming season. And for those of you who do not know, this coming Wednesday, I will be having Keon Tor back on the podcast. He's a good friend of mine. I've had him on the podcast quite a few times now, so I'm buzzing to have him back on, because whenever he's on the podcast, we always seem to have a good chat, and he gets it. He knows what he's talking about, and it makes for good entertainment, as I've been told by many of you. So Wednesday we'll be covering the Community Shield fallout, build up to Friday's game against Burnley away, and just talking about our aspirations and aspects and prospects for the season coming up after a monumental season, winning the treble. So with that said, it's time to get into it. Pre-season, I think we can't really complain. We can't really moan about it, because it's just what you want, really. It's a chance for the players to get minutes in, to get the legs moving again, which is all you want. You know, I think some key takeaways from pre-season is definitely Oscar Bob. You know, when he's featured in second halves of the games, or he's come on, he's looked very promising. So I would like to see him a lot more featured in the Premier League this season, or maybe some cup competition matches dropped in here and there. I was really impressed with James McAtee. You know, City were very hesitant about keeping him or not, but I think the decision to keep him would be a very, very logical move. Not letting him go to now a Premier League rival, Sheffield United. You know, we don't want to be shooting ourselves in the foot, because I think he's a tremendous talent. He's worked his way through the system, just like Foden. And I do really think that he is going to have a breakout season this year in the first team. You just see what he done for Sheffield United on his loan period. Him and Tommy Doyle, actually, very good players. So I'm looking forward to seeing a lot more of James McAtee this season, because he was a real standout in that those 3 pre-season games we had. But I would like to highlight, personally, I think, Mateo Kovacic, because for me, I've been very impressed from what we've seen so far. He's looked very promising. His link-up play is very good, as we all expect, because he's came in from a Chelsea team. It's not like he's exactly new to this type of play. He's won numerous amounts of Champions Leagues. I am really, really excited to see what Pep is going to do under him, and the way he integrates him into this team. I personally believe that Kovacic will be starting more or less every game, you know, because I feel like now we've brought him in, I'm not saying by any means he's a like for Gundogan, but he's certainly up there, I think, you know, because I just think the similarities are there. Obviously, he's not Gundogan, because Gundogan was that guy we could rely on in those situations to count on for that goal, for a goal to come back. You know, 13 seconds in the FA Cup final, that goal, you know, the goal on the final day of the season, scoring at Everton away. He was the guy we could count on. But we'll see what Kovacic can do. I'm excited to see what he has to offer at City. I really do think, like I said just now, he's gonna cook under Pep, because I've said it in previous episodes. When he was at Chelsea, I do feel like he was one of the only good players in that team that you could stand out and say, right, actually, he is the one here. He's the diamond in the rough, you know, because he was always the one trying to break through teams, getting the goals here and there. I remember when they played Liverpool, actually, at home at Stamford Bridge, he got a banger of a goal. So just excited to see what he can do, because you've got the best players in the world around you now, willing to support you, willing to play for. And at the end of the day, another thing, we've got different ways of creating balls for Haaland and ways of setting up for him. So it's very exciting to see. But also in a way as well, I think it's good because it gives other players now opportunity to rest. Because I feel like if we go down the avenue of putting Foden into the midfield as well, it can also allow players like Rodri, who was spammed so much last season, the opportunity to have rest before key and major games, which I do feel like would be a huge advantage going into this season, because towards the back end of last season, Rodri was one of the main players who you could really tell was feeling the brunt of this demanding schedule that we had, but it all paid off because we won the treble. So with that said, like I said, I'm really looking forward to see what Kovacic can do and the way he's going to integrate with the City system working under Pep. I think I covered Foden. The midfield role for Foden, I think, is something every City fan has been wanting to see for a long time. But more specifically, last season when he was getting dropped in Champions League games, in Premier League appearances as a sub, we're like, whoa, actually, maybe Phil should make this transition into midfield. So he done it in the Champions League final and he was very promising there. So I do feel like once he does make this move, we could see big things from Phil, which we already have. But I'm not saying that it will happen, but I've seen many different things and I don't know what to believe yet. I've heard City want to push Phil Foden more to go on the wings. They want to drop him into the midfield. I don't know what to believe yet, so we'll have to see. But building and looking ahead to the Sunday, the Community Shield, we'll see how it goes, you know. I'm not entirely that excited about it because it's like it's just the Community Shield, but I think we'll win it, you know. But saying that, this is like a huge game for Arsenal, a chance to win their first trophy since they won the FA Cup last back in I can't remember when they won it last. It was that long ago. But I think they'll turn up. I think Pep will put a decent side out. I'm expecting him to play the likes of Haaland, Grealish, Foden. I think Bernardo will start definitely. But I think in a way, the Community Shield for me is good, but it's also bad because when Liverpool won it last year, everybody was getting on the hype train of Liverpool and saying Haaland's going to be a flop. Liverpool are going to win everything, but at the end of the day, it's still a friendly match. You know, it doesn't technically go down in the record books as an official trophy. Well, it does and it doesn't. You know, there's no sentimental value to it in a way, and significance as there is with the Premier League, FA Cup or Champions League. But whilst it is still a technical trophy, the credibility to it isn't as great to other trophies. But at the end of the day, if we win it, I'm not going to get up in arms about it. I'll be happy about it. But I think we've all got our eyes on bigger prizes, i.e. the Super Cup, the Premier League, FA Cup, Champions League, Carabao Cup. But I think he'll put a strong side out, as always, because he's not one to disrespect these competitions and the Community Shield. But what I was trying to say in my point was, even if you do win the Community Shield, it doesn't mean to say that you're going to go on and win the league and everything, you know. So if we lose it, it's not the end of the world. But I don't think we will, because I think our third team could be Arsenal's best team, you know, because we're just that good. I'm not trying to sound cocky. I'm not trying to sound arrogant, but it's true, because Arsenal, they bottled that lead last season massively, and and they had a lead for more or less the whole season, and the wheels just fell off. And I think signing Declan Rice, it's not a jump, it's not a huge signing, you know. And Kai Havertz, I don't think is going to be a world-beating signing, because you look at City's team, you look at our team, every position we've got a world-class player and another world-class player in the wings on the bench waiting to fill in. So I feel like Arsenal would definitely do well this season, but I just don't see them topping us, and I don't see anyone pushing us. Maybe Liverpool will give us a good run, but I'm not sure. It's hard to tell, but it'll be a good game for sure on Sunday. You know, I didn't want to go personally because I wanted to stand beside the whole boycotting situation, because it is a ridiculous time to play it on a Sunday whilst there's transport altercations and issues for people from Manchester. It's just kind of a kick in the balls to the fans, really, and outpricing fans of these games is a bit of a joke, you know. So people have to make their own way down in cars and try and find some public transport down, but there's not a lot. So it's annoying, but yeah. If you are going to watch the game, enjoy it. If you're watching it in Manchester for the supporters party that they set up, enjoy. But I'll be watching it in my armchair at home. One of the first times I have done that, actually, for the Community Shield, because I normally go every year, but I just wasn't feeling it this year down at Wembley, because the semi-final and then the final, it just gets too expensive for trips to Wembley. So I wanted to just save myself, because I am going to Athens in a few weeks for the Super Cup, which I'll be doing coverage of, just doing posts about, and then I'll be doing Newcastle at home and a few more games this season or in the coming weeks. So I just want to give myself a bit of a breather and give my bank account a bit of a breather before I go on all the heavy activities with City. But I think for sure I'm not gonna go for anything ridiculous, because obviously Arsenal are a very good team, and I think they're definitely going to go full strength on Sunday, because it's a chance for them to, in a way, kick off and start on the right foot. For us, I don't think it really matters, because we've lost the Community Shield plenty of times and then gone on to win the league and another trophy as well. So win or lose, I think it's nothing to look too deep into. I think the main one for us is just focusing on next Friday against Burnley, you know, which will be a very good game, you know, a chance to see City in the Premier League for the first time this season, against Vincent Kompany. So it'll be interesting to see how Kompany will set up, because when we played them back in March in the FA Cup, they kind of just fallen apart. So it'll be interesting to see how this game will pan out, especially with it being a Friday kickoff, Friday night game, because they're always a bit fun. So it's definitely exciting times, very exciting times. Great to say City are almost finally back, but gonna round it up. I was happy with pre-season, just like everyone else should be. Nothing really to moan or complain about, really. Josko Gvardiol looking like it's almost done. A deal of £78 million with no add-ons. A tremendous deal, such a good deal, whilst Man United are getting bent over backwards for 80 million for Harry Maguire, and we've just signed arguably one of the best centre-backs in the world for 78 million, you know. It's just how City do business, you know. So I'm going to end it here. I hope you've enjoyed the podcast. I hope you've enjoyed the video, shall I say. Enjoy the Community Shield if you are going on Sunday. I'll be watching at home, like I said. I'll be doing a podcast tomorrow for Spotify, but this will be going out tomorrow as well, or maybe today. But please do be sure to subscribe, like, and let me know what you think on Instagram, so I can carry on to do this, make a few changes if you want me to, or whatever. But yeah, thank you for listening, MCFC, okay. Oh, and I'm also going to go with a 2-0 victory on Sunday for City. I think Haaland and Foden are going to be the goal scorers. So yeah, enjoy on Sunday. Make sure to like, subscribe and share, and whatever you can do, it is massively appreciated. I appreciate all the support for the podcast as well. I do have some big things coming up, and listen out for next week. Wednesday, me and Keon talk on the pod. Thank you, MCFC. Okay.